is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. 2 days after the CDC okayed Pfizer's COVID vaccine for emergency use among kids ages 5 to 12, children in the Valley are starting to get their shots. The children of 2 Sanford pediatricians just received their shots this afternoon at the West Fargo Clinic along Cheyenne Street. Health officials say getting younger kids their first doses now allows plenty of time for them to be fully protected before Christmas. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling is there now as the kids receive their vaccines. We'll hear from him tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10. The pediatric COVID vaccine is now available at Altru in Grand Forks. They'll start taking appointments on Monday. You can schedule one on MyChart or by calling the nurse advice line. Next Monday through Wednesday, appointments can be made from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at the Altru Pediatric Clinic, and a vaccination event is happening at the Altru Professional Center from 8 to 4:30 next Thursday. You can also call the clinic closest to you or speak with your child's primary care provider for details on getting your child vaccinated. The Northern Lights sure put on a show last night. Take a look at these photos shared from Warroad, Minnesota. We also received some great pictures from Grand Forks, Devils Lake, and near Castleton. We have a photo gallery posted on our website, valleynewslive.com. Hutch joins us now with more on that. Hutch?
Stacey, thanks so much. Yeah, a lot of photos out there, over 50 of them. So a big thank you and shout out to all of you. Number one, who braved the pretty chilly temperatures last night, but boy, we were treated to an all-night display of lights up and down the valley. Look at these morning temperatures. It was in the 20s for many. Wadena, you did manage to get down into the teens just like your neighbors up in northeast North Dakota in Can-Do. Hey, folks, guess what? The Aurora chance is out there again tonight. It doesn't look to be as strong, but there's still a chance that we could see some northern lights. However, in the forecast, we do have a few more clouds to contend with, so we'll go over that. And the Aurora forecasts, as always, are just a guidance and not necessarily a guarantee. Head to our website to see the photos that were seen from last night, and you can upload your photos by going to the link here. We're on the menu bar. Pull down and you'll see the viewer photo upload, and that's where you can also see or upload your photos. Now let's get to the thing. We do have some clouds moving in out to the west of us, and those could from time to time pass overhead and bring us a chance of seeing some clouds moving through the site. Now here is a look at where they are now. They're in the central Dakotas, moving in our general direction, so overnight we'll have a chance at that. Temperatures are warmer today. We're 50 to near 60 degrees out to the west, and your forecast for tonight will be much milder, but a little breezier with passing clouds in the forecast as well. We'll have hour-by-hour details. Once again, the best chance, Stacey, for seeing those northern lights is to get north of town away from the light pollution. And just be patient. They kind of shimmer like curtains at times, and other times they disappear for a while.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch. Breaking news for you now, just into our newsroom. A 28-year-old female inmate was found dead yesterday morning at the Otter Tail County Jail. The sheriff's office says she was taken by ambulance to an area hospital where she was pronounced dead. The investigation into that death is now underway. Stick with Valley News Live as we continue to learn more on this breaking story. 2 students are facing first-degree murder charges after investigators say they killed a teacher in Iowa. 66-year-old Noma Graber was a Spanish teacher at Fairfield High School. She was reported missing yesterday, and officials found her remains last night. 2 16-year-old boys who went to Fairfield High have been charged with homicide. They're being criminally charged as adults. A Fargo man is facing charges after allegedly stalking a 17-year-old classmate for the last few months. 26-year-old Fransley Duderville is charged with 1 count of harassment with aggravated violations. Court documents say the teen called police on October 27th from a parking lot at Minnesota State Community and Technical College. She says he drove up to her vehicle, blocked her in, and motioned for her to roll down the window. She also told police he's tried opening her car door and followed her closely around campus several times. The court documents filed say this all comes after the victim has continuously blocked him on social media, only to have him create new accounts in an attempt to communicate with her. If found guilty, he faces up to 10 years in prison or a fine of up to $20,000. Fire crews spent 5 hours on the scene of a mobile home fire in Bemidji. They say they responded to the fire southeast of town around 10:30 last night. When firefighters arrived, fire and smoke was seen coming from the home. They say it took more than 30 firefighters to control the blaze. No injuries were reported. The cause is still under investigation. The White House is unveiling new rules which will require millions of unvaccinated Americans to get the COVID vaccine. The development comes as Dr. Fauci testifies on Capitol Hill about the path ahead.
On the second full day that kids can get COVID vaccine shots, top public health officials were grilled about the ongoing response to the pandemic.
Vaccination, as we have seen, decreases your risk of infection by 6-fold, decreases your risk of hospitalization and death by 10-fold.
Republican lawmakers repeatedly pressed the witnesses about vaccine mandates versus natural immunity.
Are you so convinced that the data is so compelling that natural immunity isn't as good as vaccination?
If we don't know that natural immunity confers protection against future infection, it's because we've decided not to look.
The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, again clashed with Republican Senator Rand Paul over whether the virus leaked from a lab in China.
You won't admit that it's dangerous, and for that lack of judgment, I think it's time that you resign.
He is egregiously incorrect in what he says.
The contentious hearing came on the same day the White House unveiled new rules, which will require millions of unvaccinated working Americans to get the shot. All federal employees, federal contractors, and healthcare workers at facilities receiving Medicare or Medicaid have until January 4th to be fully vaccinated. People who work at businesses with more than 100 employees must also be vaccinated by January 4th or test weekly and wear a mask at work.
Vaccine requirements are working.
It's a hard sell to tell people who have had COVID that they're now under a mandate.
More than 24 states have already announced plans for lawsuits to block the mandates from taking effect. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
A proof of vaccination requirement took effect today for many indoor locations in Los Angeles, including bars and nightclubs. Zoos across the country have seen outbreaks of COVID-19 in animals. Last week, 11 African lions tested positive and showed symptoms for the virus at the Denver Zoo, as did 3 tigers at the San Diego Zoo. Nearly 80 zoos across the U.S. are looking to immunize some animals with a coronavirus vaccine developed by a veterinary pharmaceutical company. At Bismarck's Dakota Zoo, some animals could already be in line to get the shot.
We currently have 2 males, young males from this year. It was our first litter born at the zoo, and so it was pretty exciting for us. And we certainly don't want anything like some disease like COVID to be able to mess that up.
The zoo has applied to have their snow leopards vaccinated. Approval needs to come from a state veterinarian. A dinosaur discovery in Montana several years ago is finally making its home in North Dakota. There are many dinosaurs at Dickinson's Badlands Dinosaur Museum, but the museum's curator says this one is special. Dr. Denver Fowler says the 76-million-year-old Tyrannosaur was from the Judith River Formation in Montana. He saw the animal's feet sticking out of a cliff in 2017. Fowler says it took several years to get the skeleton block ready for travel, and it was about 2 weeks ago that a heavy-lifting helicopter picked it up and lowered it onto a trailer. The dino was then ready for its trip to its new home in Dickinson. Your grocery bill is about to get even higher. The maker of Oreo, Ritz crackers, and other well-known snack brands says it expects to raise prices by about 7% next year. The company says the price hike is needed to offset transportation costs, and as wages continue to grow and demand remains strong. The CEO says so far people have been willing to pay more for products because they're still spending less on eating and drinking at restaurants. This weekend is daylight saving time, and although some may be excited to get an extra hour of sleep, it can be extra tough on parents with young children or early risers. We spoke to a sleep consultant who says adjust your child's bedtime and nap time to be 30 minutes earlier now. He says do that for 3 days, then on the 4th day you can get back on the regular routine. She also has ideas for older toddlers and adults for first thing in the morning.
We recommend that you use some kind of an okay to wake clock for them so they have a visual as to when they can wake up. If you have an older kid, obviously, and they're able to read the time, that's great. And then I also recommend for adults to use a dawn stimulating alarm clock because it's so dark when we're waking up. So if you can get that light exposure, that's going to help your body release different hormones that will tell you time to be awake and alert.
They also say get outside around noon if you can, because that's when the sun is the highest. That'll increase serotonin production, and we need serotonin to produce melatonin at night. Thousands of gamers are joining together to raise money for our local children's hospital. Extra Life Day is a 24-hour gaming marathon this Saturday. Gamers say it's easy, fun, and it's free. All you do is go to extralife.org to sign up, then ask your friends and family to support you with a donation. The National Gaming Day is this Saturday, but you can play Extra Life any day of the year. And it's not just video games. Some choose to play tabletop games, PC, or on a console. Still to come, hear from a woman who survived a bear attack in her own kitchen.
And we have a lot of weather to talk about. That aurora possible again tonight. Clouds will play a role. We're monitoring that deer opener for North Dakota tomorrow. More details on that. And how about that storm chance next week? I have an update on all of this. Join me. Weather is next.